Welcome all my faithful viewers to my OnlyFans account. My name is King Dingaling. I can't even finish it. I can't even finish it. Oh, damn. That's the whole joke, like, dude. Still good.
We're keeping that. That's thing. That's so sick. Who gives a yeah? That's nasty. OnlyFans account. Who makes a welcome video? You nasty. That is disgusting.
Oh shit, man. You know how there's like the Chippendale version of All right. Now they've got that out the way. Oh wait, that was the intro, right? Just checking. You know, my grandma and granny read this. They watch this podcast. I don't need them like.
Oh no, it's keep. It's keep it. We'll stay in there. Real intro. They won't know.
Right when they ask me what's OnlyFans, and then I gotta answer to that. That's gonna be a good topic. Welcome all our faithful viewers. This is Vincent Lovett, Malik Patterson, and welcome back to 2BrothersPodcast. I need sound effects. That should have been better.
Who's with the sparkles?
Fireworks. It'll go.
Oh, we need a soundboard because I don't like that one. It's terrible.
You ever seen that episode from Family Guy, Weenie in the Butt, that did the radio show? Yes. That's literally what I would be Stewie right now, pressing all the buttons and saying, making sound effects and shit. You would hate me. I'll tell you that right now. You would hate me. Intro.
I don't remember that one off the top of my head.
Weenie in the butt. Weenie in the butt. Weenie in the butt. See?
Are you done?
Yeah. Better intro or no?
We keep it both. Anyway. Let's get right into it. So, with news that happened today, Drew Brees was interviewed and was asked, with the current situation that is going on in America and with people, with football supposed to return and be on its normal schedule of, coming back in August, at least the preseason games coming back in August, everybody feels like a lot of players are going to start taking a knee again and bring that whole wave of standing up for injustice back. And when they asked Drew Brees how he felt about the matter, because, he's one of the faces of the entire league, he said that he'll never agree with people disrespecting the American flag, because when he looks at the flag and when he stands up and watches the national anthem, he thinks of his grandparents and how they fought for this country and all the sacrifice that they did for the flag, blah, blah, blah. I'm not about to go over exactly everything they said, but I pretty much said majority of the beginning of the video verbatim from what he said. And I just think, to me, I think that is just extremely ignorant. I think it's distasteful. I think that even from when Colin Kaepernick originally did it a few years ago, it never clicked in Drew Brees' head that, that wasn't disrespecting, because Colin Kaepernick asked a veteran, how can I still, honor the flag and honor the national anthem, but, still let my voice be heard and not be disrespectful or not completely disregard what our veterans have fought for. And he said to take a knee, and people think that that's somehow disrespectful and that's somehow being degrading the flag, or just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. People just feel some type of way when you take a knee, and it's that's the whole point of why people were going to war. Is people go to war to fight for our freedoms, to fight for our liberties, and to protect our liberties and our freedoms and the things and the luxuries that we have here in America, because a lot of other countries don't have that, which is why, this is the land of opportunity. I'm not about to get into this whole spiel thing, but it's
Don't forget resources in that. We do go to war for that.
Yeah, but you get what I mean? Like, people fight on both sides, not just white people, not just black people. Like, people in America in general go to war, join the force, and protect us and serve us, so people like Colin Kaepernick or like me and you or just anybody can stand up for the injustices that are going on within the actual system, within America. So if he wants to take a knee because there's injustices happening, he had every right to do so. And the fact that people just couldn't understand that, like, I don't know, the racism was showing. Like, it was oozing out of him really bad.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like people took that one way or another, but it like the fact that he got blackballed for standing up for injustice, I feel like that's gonna happen. That's gonna show up again when this season resumes, or next season restarts itself all over again. And I'll be surprised how like the backlash turns out. You know, will these people be traded, fired? You know, what they did with Kaepernick, that shouldn't have happened. That was hurtful.
Completely blackballed him.
For real.
And act like they didn't blackball him, but this is not a Kaepernick segment. I mean, I can talk about this the entire podcast.
It's a good thing we ain't got all time for you though. That's a good thing.
But anyway, we can move on to the next topic. I just wanted to throw that in the beginning, and still tell everybody who is out there still protesting, still fighting, to keep up the good fight, keep up the good work. I know I've been doing my part, been doing my due diligence, and I know you have too. And so we just got to keep it going, because it doesn't end. Just because it might die down on social media doesn't mean that the fight ends. And we got to still push for this, like, in a legal standpoint as well, with like new laws, get people and prosecutors and people who we don't like, who are in the front, like people who are higher up, such as city council members. We gotta, if they're doing a disservice, we have to make sure that we vote in the correct people who will do right by all of us, by Black people, by people of color. That's what I mean by saying all of us, because they do right by white people no matter what.
Exactly. We got to make sure they're held accountable for their actions if they're going to step into office. They got to be able to serve not only for one man, but they must be able to serve for all the men and women that consider themselves American. You know, you can mix the words with that. Yeah. But yeah, November 3rd. Make sure you guys go vote.
Do so for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to get into the NBA whole playoff thing, or do you want to get into your UFC?
And my UFC. That's nice. I like the way that sounds. All right, we can hop into it. So, UFC 250 will begin this Saturday. You will have the Amanda Nunes, the Lioness, versus Felicia Spencer as the main event, and the co-main event is Rafael Asiao and Cody Garbrandt. Damn, you think I practice these names better? So it's gonna be a good fight, especially if you look at the main card or the main event, so to speak. It's all gonna depend on how well that Felicia can get to the ground and pound game. If she can make that, if she can have Amanda Nunes on her back the entire fight, she's a good chance of winning this. If that doesn't happen, if it's a straight up stand and striking game, it plays right into Amanda Nunes' heavy, and I mean heavy hands. So yeah, I still see the Lioness coming out with the victory. It'll be a hard fight if you're a Felicia Spencer fan to watch. That's just how it's not gonna be one-sided. I'll call it more of a 70-30 fight. There's reason why she's in the talk to be one of the greatest of all times, which is kind of ironic since the last greatest of all time, Henry Cejudo, not just because he already declared his retirement. I think he's gonna come back though. He's not gonna stay retired for so long, especially if you're on top of the world in both the bantam and featherweight division.
Nah, not really. You know how many people claim that they retired and don't retire? Don't retire.
You know, the greatest of all time in basketball did that.
I would love to talk about that, but somebody on the other end has never seen the full 10-part documentary, so we still can't talk about it.
Episode 4. Stay tuned.
We're on episode 4. This podcast is episode 4.
You know, if I had the editing, I'll turn my face into like a jackass. So that's literally what I'll be right now. God damn. I gotta work on my editing. I gotta make that
come out of the screen just right there, boom.
You hear the sound effect and all just oh. Episode 5. Fix myself.
Okay. Okay, so when is this fight gonna happen, actually? Because I would love to actually get into UFC, but I just never catch it.
It's because unless you got like pay-per-view and buying the fights every other month, it's just kind of no point. You gotta like first do your due diligence and watch the free fights. That's how you could get more. That's how you get more in depth of like more of the fighting. That's how I did it. You know, the free fights on YouTube.
Like the undercards to be on ESPN.
Yeah, those are the ones that be on ESPN as like the not preliminary, but like you see fights that happened a long time ago or somewhat significant. Like you will show the Amanda Nunes' last fight against Holly Holmes and see how she dominated that fight. And low-key, that fight was kind of fun because she had these combos that she kept mixing in. She was all punches though, from hooks to uppercuts. It was dirty. And when she fell after that it was a crazy overhand punch. She completely flattened Holly Holmes. It was a good fight though. Start by watching one fighter and learn and start seeing what they do and stuff like that. Then the more you watch it, the better. The more you start seeing like a professional eye start to develop in your when you start watching film, the fights.
Okay. Well, were you done with this one?
Sorry, one last thing.
Okay.
I do believe that the main event is going to be a good fight, but it won't be the best fight. I recommend make sure you guys pay attention to Sean O'Malley. You know, he's a bantamweight who is so far is undefeated going up against Eddie Wineland. So, if Sean O'Malley can not look so tired going into the third round of every fight he's been in, he has a good chance of winning. He had hurt his leg in his last fight, so I don't. It's going to be you probably won't see as much striking or stand-up striking from him. Most likely, you're going to see the technical standpoint with takedowns and see how well he can win like that. If not, his undefeated streak will be over, but that will be the fight of the night. That I'm calling that right now. Okay. And the fight starts June 6th at 7:00.
Where are the fights actually taking place at?
UFC. Oh, sorry, Vegas. They're actually going back to Vegas. Yeah.
Fights are taking place at UFC, but the whole segment is UFC. Thanks. I appreciate that. I didn't know it was a city named UFC. You really helped me out there, buddy.
Yeah, I like how you catching me every time now. You're not letting it slide. You ain't letting shit slide today, huh? Fight are taking place in Vegas.
Okay.
Ain't letting shit slide today.
Well,
edit this down. Put the bloopers in.
Speaking of Vegas, apparently the Adam Silver is proposing a 22-team tournament, but it won't be held in Vegas and in Orlando. It'll just only be in Orlando. So originally, like a couple episodes back, we was talking about how they were thinking about both places, and I'm guessing we just assumed West would be in Vegas, East would be in Orlando, but 22 teams are going to be in Orlando, and it's supposed to be all 16 teams are supposed to be in the playoffs. So the 8 West, the 8 East, one extra team from the East, and then how many extra teams from the West? I think it was a total of 13. So
13?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there, they're supposed to have 8 regular season games left that they're supposed to play in Orlando.
All right. Let's see. Last time I left off, I was asking you, so the teams that during this 8-game process where teams get weeded out outside of playoff contention if they fall below a certain record. What was the I guess that's my question for that.
Yeah, so after like the rest of the regular season games, it's gonna be like an elimination for like the 9th seed. It's gonna be like a 1-game elimination, and for the 8th seed, it's gonna be like a 2-game elimination, and then the playoffs are gonna start from there. And it's gonna be 1 through 8 like that. But I'm not sure if they're gonna do like a 1-8 or like 1-16. I'm not sure if they're gonna do like West East still, or if they're gonna do like one big 1-16.
Right. So like whoever has like the 16 teams with the best record, right?
Yeah, so it's still gonna be 16 teams, but if they do 1-16 and just do one big melting pot, you're gonna see probably the Lakers and the Clippers in the finals. But if we do West,
maybe
then we'll see Lakers and
all Laker final do sound nice. Sorry, because nobody cares about the Clippers much, so it's kind of the point to point that out.
West versus East, because then we'll get Lakers in Milwaukee, because I don't even want to hear even if the Clippers do make the finals, they still don't count because we still didn't have a full season. There's going to be an asterisk around it, around making the finals. Even if they make the conference championship, there's going to be an asterisk around that because you didn't really make it. Like, you made it during a pandemic, and y'all just so happen to have
the second best record. So the mostly home court advantage. Because if you look at the record, the Denver Nuggets was close to knocking them into third place again.
And that's another thing that this is just me personally. Are they going to have the Orlando Magic's floor, or is it going to say, like, you're going to have each team's different floor? Like, you're going to switch the floor out every time somebody play? How is that going to work? Because it's going to be at one stadium, but, like,
right.
Switch the floors out all the time.
That would just mean more work to do, because the only home court team is going to be the Orlando Magic. Maybe Miami. They may travel to the Miami fans may travel. That's probably the second team that's going to have home court advantage. Everybody else is going to be at disadvantage.
Is it going to have so is it still going to be no fans? As of right now, I believe it's still no fans. But if they do a no fans thing, I know ESPN won't allow it, but just hear me out here. If we do no fans and it's just the players, the coaches, and like the personnel staff and everything, since we don't hear the crowd, can you mic up some of the players and let them just say what they say if it was a pickup game? So if they don't bleep it out, don't find them, just let it roll. I promise you that'll be way more entertaining, and it'll be a way better playoff scenario than having it with the whole, not saying it would be better than having them with fans, but if you let them
bleep this, bleep that.
Like, if you actually let us hear them really trash talk to each other, it'll be more entertaining than just hearing sneakers squeak. And because we'll have announcers for what? But what's the point of having an announcer if fans to hear the announcer? He's supposed to be announcing it for me at home.
I can't wait for like Russell Westbrook to start dunking on people, and then they have like nobody cheering for except for the sideline.
And you just run back down the court, like you don't.
Yeah, like pretend they pretend you gotta pretend like nothing happened. Like, come on, dog.
You hear no excitement, no like. I tell you, especially at the free throw line, it's gonna be quiet.
So you have no excuse to straight up shack your free throws.
Like, you're not gonna hear nothing but the ball bounce.
I want to hear the swoosh and everything. I want to see the full release, follow through and all.
I don't know, man.
That should, but like going back to the standings though, I do believe it'll be a good change, but it definitely will be an asterisk. Certain teams wouldn't like actually. Man, certain teams wouldn't actually make it if you ask me. This whole thing fell off.
Can you like prop it up on a stand or something?
I can't. I don't have a fucking stand. God damn. Making that decision tomorrow. Hopefully it becomes a profitable one for everybody, not just for the owners, but the fans included. Yeah.
Because the ratings are skyrocketing because we still at home doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the playoffs will be pushed back even further. So now, instead of it ending in June, it might end around July or in July. So
right,
because we're already in. Actually, no, it might even end depending on how fast they play or how close the schedules would be. It might go into August. Nah,
and then that's going to end up pushing back the NBA draft as well, because that usually happens in July.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. We'll see.
2K21 get to push it back too.
What time is it? Let's get our flashlight.
All right.
There you go. Huh?
The final topic is going to be about the AFC North. And
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should. I want to start from the bottom this time and work our way up. And so far, the bottom is the Miami Dolphins.
You said the North.
The North, AFC East.
That is the AFC.
I don't want to play no more. It's time to shut it off. How many times am I gonna mess up? This is why I can't do first take.
It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna start with the Bengals. And we go.
All right, Bengals.
Screen. It's just like okay. Anyway, I don't know who the ugly black dude is.
Instead of the AFC South, we're gonna start with the AFC North. Good old Bengals. Everybody's favorite punching bag.
So
to be honest, like outlier games, are you really expecting a lot from them this year?
Nah, not with a brand new quarterback.
Right, like he has to get acclimated into the system and everything. You know that I will say this though, that Miami game is it'll show similarities to last year's game, like how the Giants and the Redskins, like did they make the right choice in getting this quarterback or not?
Yeah,
Chargers too. Chargers got to make that. Like, was it the right choice? I don't really see, I don't see it. But
I think two of their outlier games has to be Baltimore in Baltimore and then Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, because you got to win against the top two teams in your division and in your conference if you're going to do anything this season. I actually don't even really see too many tough games after. I mean, Tennessee, the Eagles, maybe the Chargers.
Redskins should be an easy game for them.
Actually, no, I go with the Chargers because it's rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback. So the Chargers and then Baltimore and Pittsburgh. So we'll see. What do you have their schedule being? Because I got them winning 3 games.
I would say that's kind of generous, but not like out of those 3 games, like it's all gonna depend on how fast, so to speak, can Joe Burrow get acclimated to the system.
I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's smart. He's not my favorite out of the draft. I just don't see him wielding them with this kind of schedule. Like looking at their schedule, they have a pretty tough schedule, and it's not going to be an easy cakewalk when you got a schedule like this.
Right. If they had better talent around them, then maybe they have a good chance of even going 500. But still, even with the talent, it's all going to depend on Joe Burrow. I don't see them doing anything good out of this year. I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give them 3. I see them going 3-13. Another first round top 5 draft pick next year.
So we both got 3-13. What about we can go over to the Browns next.
Yeah.
I don't see too much coming out of the Browns, but
really.
So if it'll load.
It won't load, sorry.
Load. All right, yeah. So with the Browns schedule, Dallas at Dallas is a big one.
Right.
I don't want to say my own team. The top 2 teams in their division again.
I don't even see them taking the game off of either or maybe the Steelers. Yeah, I don't see them taking the game off of the Ravens.
I don't really see them. Maybe they might be able to win a game versus Pittsburgh because they always seem to have a number on Pittsburgh or at least make it a close game.
That defense starts playing a little bit better than they're supposed to. Yeah.
And Baker he's not a franchise quarterback like they thought he was going to be. This is just my personal opinion, but he's not bad.
He's not bad. I feel like you got he has enough pieces to be successful. It's just he has to like make that step to be successful. how the saying goes, you can lead a horse to the river, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give or take. A little bit different.
Ooh. It's like close enough, right?
Close enough.
I'll say that Cowboys game it should be a good one. You know, they may not match up stylistically, but the amount of buzz that Dak Prescott and Baker Mayfield bring to the team is kind of similar. So like, if he can get the better out of that exchange, I do see him riding that wave for the next 3 games. So they may end up having a good surge around week 7 to week 10. Week 10 season.
Maybe. And then towards the latter half, after they play Baltimore again, they got 2 winnable games, and they play Pittsburgh again. Depending on how Pittsburgh's schedule is, they might be able to win that last game because Pittsburgh might be sitting some players out, or just maybe due to injury, whatever the case may be. So, I got them going 7-9. What do you got?
I'd be a little worse. 6-10. 6-10. Another year they don't make the playoffs. Shit gets changed. Don't be surprised if you see like big time trade. You may see Odell on the trading block for better pieces to make sure that either protect Baker Mayfield, because that was a big issue. He didn't really have a chance to throw the ball last year, or give replenish the player that they lost in their trade for Odell. Maybe look for like a DB. But 6-10 is how I see them finishing out the season next year.
Yeah, when a lot of people, when they were talking about who had horrible offensive lines, I know Skip Bayless kept talking about New England Patriots and Tom Brady's line. Tom Brady didn't have the worst line. Baker Mayfield had the worst offensive line I seen all of last year. And the Eagles, diehard Eagles fan, they had a horrible line as well. Baker Mayfield had probably the least amount of time in the pocket to make any type of decision. That line was so bad. Can you name me one person from that line? Because I think the only person I can think of is Trotter.
I was going to say Joe Thomas, longtime Browns, but he just retired.
He ain't there no more.
Exactly.
But yeah, so you say 6-10, I say 7-9. 1 game difference. Who knows? Okay, now which one are we going to go to? We're going to Baltimore or we're going to Pittsburgh?
I choose everybody's favorite.
Baltimore. Okay.
Yes. MVP. Did you see this transcendence coming from him?
This fast?
Yeah.
To be honest, no. I knew he was going to be a really good quarterback. I knew they were going to build the offense around him. I didn't know they were going to win as many games as they won last year. Because honestly, last year, midway through the season, I had them winning the Super Bowl. Just how electric they were playing offensively, defensively. And I still think that they can win the Super Bowl this year as well.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely a top contender for this upcoming season.
The NFL kind of blessed them about having a somewhat decent, easy schedule when you look at it. Because, like, week 1, look at it. Week 3, they have a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
From there, week 6, 7.
And it also doesn't help that you inside your division is 2 teams that you generally stomp on every year. So that's 4 wins right off the bat.
Yeah, just looking at this schedule alone, I think their hardest games that they're going to have to play will be...
Got to be the Chiefs.
Pittsburgh.
Got to be the Chiefs.
And I think they really want revenge versus Tennessee.
Yeah, they want to see if that run defense can actually do its job this time.
Yeah, because they got straight up just punched in the mouth in the divisional game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. They got straight up punched in the mouth the whole game. And that was my first time ever seeing Lamar Jackson on a professional level look rattled. He looked rattled, and John Harbaugh and the offensive coordinator looked shaken up. Like, they looked like they just didn't know what exactly to do, whether to run play action, whether to run the ball, try to do an RPO, just straight up do a passing concept and do like smash routes. They just look like they didn't really know what direction to take the offense.
And that's odd because like Harbaugh has been there for a while. He's not like a rookie head coach like Kitchens or Freddie Kitchens or Mike Vrabel. Like they know what he's been around. He's been around enough games to realize like if you did get punched in the mouth, you got to have a counter. You got to have some type of counter to counteract this onslaught that was going on. And they had no answers. Either it was a personnel issue or they had no idea how to stop Derrick Henry. Which a lot of teams face that same problem.
Yeah. So what do you have their schedule be?
Record-wise, I see them doing roughly about how they did this year. I'm not saying they're not going 16-0, but not many games that they can really lose. Besides, I say two, which is the Chiefs and the Titans game again. Besides that, 14-2.
14-2.
14-2.
Oh, with 13-3. If they go 12-4, I think I would consider that a bad regular season for them if they go 12-4.
Right, they still win the Super Bowl
with the caliber offense and with the defense, and then plus the defensive pieces that they also put together, like defense pieces that they collected with adding Calais Campbell. I really believe in them, and I believe that they have everything built properly to be bigger, stronger, faster this year than last year. I think last year kind of caught their own selves by surprise. This year, everybody's going to be looking at the Chiefs, not really looking at Baltimore, because you got to always look at the defending champs, not the could-have-beens.
Exactly.
So,
well, 13-3, 14-2. Still not a bad season.
It's a really shoot. I would love to go 13-3 or 14-2. Actually, we did go 13-3 when we won the Super Bowl.
All right. Last but not least, Steel Curtain.
We would have actually played that last game versus Dallas. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah, just gotta throw that out there.
All right, weigh them terrible towels. It's time for the Steelers.
It's disgusting. Going through the schedule, looks like a pretty easy schedule up front anyway, up until week 4. I say week 4. I like Houston, but Houston don't really have receivers.
They right.
Stills and Will Fuller. Will Fuller's a deep threat. Kenny Stills is sometimes a possession receiver, but he gets hurt too much. They don't really have a viable number one option right now. So,
and I do believe this may be like a breakout season for T.J. Watt. I will admit he's good, but he hasn't got like the same love that his brother gets for just about being like the Swiss Army knife for the D-line. He could play anywhere, everywhere on defense, actually, except DB. But if T.J. Watt does take that final step into superstar status, then I do see the Steelers not only just on defense, but actually making a lot of headways this season.
So for the Steelers, if they want their 3 to me would be at Baltimore week 7, 14 at Buffalo, and then
that's gonna be a real defensive game against Buffalo.
Because you hyped up your team so much.
Ooh.
16 versus the Colts. I think that was a trap game because you look at the rest of the schedule. Week 15, it's like it's an easy dub. Week 16 question mark. Week 17 dub. So to the Steelers, depending on how they might roll, they might think that it's an easy. We can win 3 in a row the last 3 games of the season, but they might get a loss that might hurt their standings in the playoffs.
Right.
I do believe that they're going to make the playoffs, but if they lose week 16 versus the Colts, that might drop them from a 3rd seed, or not really 3rd because they can't be 3rd, but that would drop them from like a 5th seed to maybe even 6th seed, 5th, 6th, or 7th, depending on how it plays out. But I got
right, and with that game with the Colts is going that's going to be the game that I was talking about earlier. You know, because that front those O-line will make it hard for T.J. Watt to get inside pressure onto Phillip Rivers. So you call it a trap game? Yeah, that could be a trap game, but I don't see much to deteriorate the Colts running the team over. Not showing no bias in the situation, but it's more or less T.J. Watt is he's a little bit of a pass rusher and cut. Hold on, I can't cut.
what you mean.
I would tell you what happened, but you would not like how it goes.
Okay.
Now, like I was saying, that game against the Colts, like you said, is going to be a trap game, but stylistically, the Colts match up a little bit better. You know, their offensive line is really their bread and butter of the offense. If they can be able to not only keep Phillip Rivers, keep giving him enough time to throw the ball, but actually move the run game forward whichever step they take, then they have a good chance of running over the team. So that's kind of how I see that game going. It's going to be a trap game, but if they don't use that game to bounce back, I do see them going 0-3 during the final 3 weeks left in the season. Thankfully, they're playing at home though, so they may have that on their resume fall back on.
I have them going 10-6 this season.
So 10-6. Okay, all right. I have them roughly around there as well.
I think they'll make the playoffs. They'll make a wild card, especially with the 7th seed being.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how high in the playoff chart they'll fall. I don't really necessarily see them being a 5th seed, but they just might be a 5th seed because the way that their schedule plays out, they have some tough games, but they also have some pretty winnable games.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's more or less like I do see them making the playoffs. I just don't see them making a deep run within the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, any final thoughts? Any final words?
I should definitely do my I should definitely do my recording somewhere else. Got to change up the background. Maybe I have it outside, or you see the background, the view. That'd be different.
Hear all that extra. I mean,
yeah, you can hear the wind blowing in the background too. Yeah.
Nobody wants to.
You can hear some little kid getting mad playing Call of Duty. Yeah, you can hear that too.
Okay, bye. No.
And with that being said, that'll be the end of the podcast. You know, Vincent Lovett, the Don Teflon Don of the game, signing off. And then I'm gonna call you my lackey. You're my lackey this time. Earn your role. You're a lackey. Yes, you are the one that holds the jock straps. Oh no! If this is like what's it called? Just like a World of Warcraft, you be the one that's like telling everybody of my amazing heroic status and whatnot. That would be you. No response. Oh, yeah, you saw he comprehended. All right.
That's gotta be the dumbest thing I heard all day. Actually, no, I'll take that back. What Drew Brees said has to be the dumbest thing. Okay, that's gotta be a second. No. The third dumbest thing I heard all day. I heard a lot of dumb stuff today. So you cracked my top 3, sir. Appreciate you. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. We're trying to drop these every week if we can. That's the plan. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really tough during no news to talk about, but we're still pumping them out. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you guys next week where we cover some more news that comes out about the playoffs or about the UFC. We'll probably do a wrap up on that, try to watch that, and then we'll also get into the NFC West. So that'd be interesting.
Right. For all our Rams fans that's over here, you may not like what you hear. I'll give you a fair warning.
Oh, I'm gonna tear into Jared Goff. Pause. All right. Thank you guys. Talk to you later. Peace.